Hi, I want to talk about Hi, this is Attorney Jack Morris, and I'm talking about the probate process and how one determines what assets are required to be probated when a person passes away. So I'm going to use this illustration to hopefully explain how that process works. So think of it, I'm drawing a big circle. So the circle represents a pot. My poor description of how a pot is drawn. But when a person passes away, all their assets goes into that pot. So at this point, in order to determine what assets needed to be probated, we determined that when a person dies again, all those assets go into the pot. And these are the things that would be taken out of the pot. First things would be 401ks, IRAs, and then life insurance policies. And the reason why those come out is because they have named beneficiaries on them. So even though a person passes away and they have their assets, those items over here are part of the person's assets, but because they died, they have named beneficiaries. Those assets pass to the persons who have the named beneficiaries on them. So they're out of the probate. So the other situation is anything that's in a joint account, meaning that it's a person who died and somebody else, a spouse or whatever. So if one person dies, those assets transfer to the surviving, well, in this case, to the other joint asset holder. So those come out. Then, if you have things that are in trust, if you set up separate, if you have your assets put in a trust, they're not owned by the individual who passes away. So in theory, if all of your assets are in these three different categories, then there's really nothing else to probate, because all those assets are either there's a beneficiary where they'd go to the named beneficiary, they're in the joint account, so they would, as they say, slide to the survivor, or they're in a trust, which means they're not owned by the individual. So really what's in here is everything that's owned by the individual, and that's what then needs to be probated. And how that works is it's controlled by the will. So those assets that are in this bucket that's remaining, those are the assets that in essence would be required in order to probate the will, and will would then control. Hopefully that helps. Thank you.